In every Formula One race, besides the excitement and thrill of the race, there's another drama unfolding in the background. And the 2023 Italian Grand Prix was not without its share. Besides the thing with Helmut Marko and Sergio Perez of Red Bull, Fernando Alonso of Aston Martin also decided to contribute to the GP's drama by making unfair comments about his junior colleagues, Hamilton and Verstappen. What did he say? And what led to him making that comment? At the end of last season, Alonso made a very big move when he decided to leave Alpine, a midfield team for the then struggling Aston Martin. Everyone thought it was a very dumb move, thinking the Spaniard was moving further down the line. But everyone was very shocked by what came next season. Aston Martin did not just move up to become a midfield team, but became one of Red Bull's and Verstappen's challengers. Their 2023 car, AMR23, had performed incredibly well. And it was all because they had taken inspiration from Red Bull's title-winning car. But besides the car, the team bringing in the very talented Alonso to take the wheels was a very good move, as he was able to put the car to good use. He had finished the first 3 races on the podium, and although he began witnessing some lows along the line, the fact that he's already single-handedly won 7 podiums out of 16 races for the team is enough to show that he was really, indeed, a talented driver. However, lately he has taken to ridiculing other drivers' achievements. It might be because his performance has declined, but there's no justification for such action. And it all started at the Italian Grand Prix. The Italian GP was particularly tough for the team because their car was not very competitive on the Monza circuit. And if that wasn't bad enough, the team's other driver, Lance Stroll, started the weekend on a bad note. During the second practice session for the Grand Prix, Stroll's AMR23 experienced a failure that forced him to pull onto the grass. The session was also halted for a few minutes as a result of the car failure. Stroll and his car were taken off the grid, and the team immediately worked on what they thought was the problem. But the problem persisted at the qualifying race. He couldn't get past the first hurdle. He finished slowest of all, and this made him start the actual race in last place. Although Alonso was able to progress into Q3 and his lap time was way more than that of his teammates, it wasn't all that impressive either, because he finished in 10th place. If Alonso thought he would be able to make the most of the 10th position, it didn't work out, as he was only able to get ahead of one driver to finish the race in 9th place. This frustration must have led to him saying what he said about Verstappen and Hamilton. After the Italian GP, the drivers were called in for interviews by media houses as usual, and that's where Alonso made his comments. We're not sure what exactly the Dutch magazine Der Telegraaf asked Alonso, but it must have had something to do with the drivers playing a pivotal role in building their success in recent years. But the Spaniard vehemently rejected the notion. The 2 drivers who have dominated the grid in recent years are Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, and Alonso said that they didn't really do much, that they had only been lucky to be in good cars, insinuating that any other person could do the same if they had the same opportunity, and that the teams had not won the championships thanks to them, but they had won championships thanks to the team. Here's what he said about Hamilton. When Hamilton went to Mercedes, he didn't build anything to be champion. It was only a change in regulations, hybrid engines, that changed everything on the grid and boosted Mercedes. Hamilton joined Mercedes in 2013 after a few years at McLaren. He won 6 championships in a span of 7 years between 2014 and 2020, with the only time he didn't win being in 2016, but he hasn't won any races in 2 years now since the tide has changed. And for Verstappen, Alonso said, "I think the same with Max. When he joined Toro Rosso and Red Bull, Hamilton continued to win everything. Red Bull is not a winning team thanks to him. Simply another regulation change in 2021 has caused them to now win in all races. Ultimately, you just need to be in the right place at the right time." So I don't know exactly what they mean when it's said that you build teams around you. I think it has more to do with the rules than a driver's input or driving style. Timing is everything. His statement about the drivers is not entirely accurate. Although it's true that one has to be in a good car to achieve success, being a talented driver is also a requirement. There's no way an unskilled driver would go behind the wheels of an incredible car and achieve what these duo have achieved over time. So both driver and car have to be in sync for success to be achieved. It should also be noted that when Hamilton joined Mercedes in 2013, he played a very significant role in helping the team prepare, and stayed at the top of the field during his dominant era. Several changes that were made to the car to make it win more titles was due to suggestions made by the driver. Their success was not solely due to the car being a beast on the grid. As for Verstappen, we can all agree that the ground effect regulations introduced in 2022 has given them an edge over other teams, as they quickly got a hang of it. But that doesn't mean Alonso is right. In 2021, when their car was not the best on the grid, Verstappen had won 10 races, which had led him to winning the Drivers' Championship title that year. So that clearly had nothing to do with timing or luck, but the skills of the driver. If Alonso's claims are true, would he agree that he had won his 2 Drivers' Championship titles only by luck or timing, and it had nothing to do with his skills and the efforts he put into the team? To be fair, he always makes the most of the car he was driving, whether good or bad. His performance this year is clear evidence, but it doesn't mean that the 2 drivers wouldn't do the same if they found themselves in the same position. It's clear that his statement about Hamilton comes from the bitter rivalry that had developed during their time together at McLaren, but what exactly does the Spaniard have against Verstappen? No one can say for sure. One could only guess that it might be because he wishes he has achieved more in his very long years as a driver. When the former Williams team manager, Pete Windsor, heard Alonso's comment, he said he wasn't too surprised the Spaniard said such. This was because at the beginning of the season, Alonso had tried to turn the 2 world champions against one another by saying Lewis was not all that and that Verstappen was a much better driver. When he realised that the 2 drivers didn't think much of the statement, he decided to downgrade their achievements altogether. I think Verstappen gets the recognition he deserves because I've always said that he is one of the best racing drivers I've ever seen, and I think he's phenomenal in every aspect. A phenomenon. Having said that, I suspect that in the back of Fernando's mind, there's still a little bit of angst with Lewis, and it's just his way of saying a little bit. Oh, Max is much better than Lewis, without actually saying that. That's the sort of thing Fernando would do or say, bless him. So I suspect it's more than anything else. The rivalry between the 2 drivers, Alonso and Hamilton, might not end anytime soon because they're both battling for 3rd position on the Drivers' Championship table. Hamilton is just 4 points ahead of Alonso, and any little mistake from the British driver would have Alonso in 3rd place. So far, the 2 men have not made any comments as regard to the statement. They might never respond because there's no need for it. They will both forever be remembered as champions regardless of what anyone thinks. So what do you think about all that has been discussed? Is Fernando right, and why do you think so? Kindly let us know in the comment section. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.